Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Real to Real Talk. I am Sergio Barrera, and it's time once again to talk all things movies. Joining me, as always, is the other Real to Real Talker, Paul Britton. And once again, joining us is our friend, Jen. Jen, thank you so much for being back. Only 2 weeks from the last time.
No,
We
I'm so glad to
are,
be here tonight.
yeah, we're thankful that you're here because we're going to talk dinosaurs, guys.
Yeah, not just dinosaurs, but dinosaur movies too.
Indeed. We are going to be spending our time today talking about the Jurassic Park / World franchise as we prepare to give our thoughts on the most recent entry and supposedly final entry into this franchise, Jurassic World Dominion. And so as we start tonight, I gotta say, can I just say this? And I hope this doesn't set the tone for the whole conversation. But after watching the first 5, I thought to myself, I don't remember these movies being this bad. And so
I do. Yeah. Like I'll put in a hot take sweeping statement and just say right off the bat, the Jurassic franchise is probably one of, if not the most overrated franchises in out there. With DC only trying to compete because of the sheer volume, but at least DC has like Dark Knight going for it, but Jurassic franchise has nothing remotely that decent on its resume.
And here's the thing, because obviously we all have different takes, and I always want to make sure that we're all comfortable sharing our takes.
Oh, absolutely.
So Jen, this franchise, what did it mean to you in your movie going experience? Tell us a little bit about sort of your take on your experience with these films. Kind of, if you could sum it up,
Start in 1993. What was Jen doing in 1993? Go.
1993, I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So this was the first adult movie I remember being allowed to watch. I come from a very conservative home. My parents, I was not allowed to watch PG-13 movies until I was 13, and they were very strict about that. So this was the first grown-up movie I remember watching, and my parents had seen it before we were allowed to watch it to make sure it wasn't too scary. It was a whole thing. So that's, I loved it. The first one, loved it as a kid, still love it, y'all. I have said it over and over on this show. I love a shitty ass disaster movie. I love it. It's my guilty pleasure. These movies, other than the first one has a very special place in my heart. I think it's great, especially for the technology and all of the stuff that they use to make this movie.
Sure.
In the 90s, I think it's fantastic. The rest of them, 2 and 3, terrible movies. They're terrible. I still love them, but they're terrible.
Gotcha.
Jurassic World, the reboot and bringing in of the new cast and stuff, was a very great effort. Still not as good as the original, but that's for me, but probably that's more nostalgia than anything else. The 5th one was the worst one in my opinion. I think even worse than 3. That's just me. And then I'll save my thoughts on the last one. Until later. But I love these movies for a multitude of reasons, but mostly because it perfectly goes into my shitty disaster movie love.
It's definitely a wheelhouse for you. Yeah. And listen, I think it's no surprise to Paul that I am right there with you in terms of that guilty pleasure kind of stuff, and that I can forgive movies, all kinds of things. I think for me, as I look at this franchise holistically, because I remember seeing 1, and like you, I was taken by the spectacle of this book being brought to life, right? And so, Steven Spielberg, it's got all the markers of a hit. And I remember thinking to myself, when there was announced a sequel, I was like, oh God, okay, fine. And I said this to someone earlier today. They said, if you could sum up the franchise in just a few words, what would your thoughts be? And I said, they've had 5 attempts to try to recapture the magic, and I don't think they need a 6th. because they're not. And so, but I don't know if we can agree on this, but it isn't in the spectacle of dinosaur battles and encounters that are like action based where these movies fall for me. It's story. It's like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to sell me on? Like that for me, I love the spectacle of dinosaurs fighting and, you know, people in peril. All of that's fine. But it's like, don't make me sit through this story that for me doesn't connect. And so, Paul, again, I hadn't watched those films in a while. I hadn't even seen 5. I think we said last time, Jen, I mentioned that I hadn't seen that movie. And I remember thinking like, oh goodness, why was I so excited about this last installment? I couldn't figure it out.
Right. For me, Jurassic, the Lost World, Jurassic Park, the second one, is really in competition for Steven Spielberg's worst movie, and I don't know that there's a lot of competition there. Like I think it's that, and it's 1942, and at least 1942 tried to do something and be something, and it's very different. There's nothing different about Lost World, Jurassic Park. It's quite possibly the biggest drop down from the first movie to the second movie. And here's the thing is, so where I was in 1993 was I was really diving headfirst into independent films and catching up on international films and stuff that I had missed from, 1940 on. I poo-pooed the first Jurassic Park. I really did. I was not in a big phase of my life where I was like, okay, popcorn movie, let's do it. Other than Independence Day, which I loved when I saw it, but like that's the scale of disaster that you needed to do for me to get involved. Jurassic Park, it just didn't resonate with me. I did learn to like it a lot, after I got over myself and just said, you know what, popcorn movies are fine. And it took a couple of years, but I eventually warmed up to it. And especially after seeing the second one, I was like, good Lord, that first one is, clearly so much better than the second one. And then the third one came out. I didn't see the third one until I think after Jurassic World. Like I had heard such terrible things about the third one that like Jurassic World came out and I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and check out the third one. Like people say it's funny. It's not funny and it's not good. And it's unwatchable. I mean, like, and I did a second viewing this week just to remind myself, okay, how bad is it? It's a bad movie.
It's bad.
And it's okay because it's 90 minutes. That's the only good thing about it, is that I don't have to sit through 2 hours and 15 minutes of it. Everybody's bad in it. Everybody, the script is just who cares? The stakes could not possibly be lower,
right?
I feel like they took something that's so unbelievable and made it really unbelievable. Like
they took something unbelievable and made it who cares? Like,
yeah,
like literally, like that kid honestly deserved to die because he was doing something stupid and illegal. And when you do things that are stupid and illegal and you die, I don't feel bad for you. I just don't. Like, yeah. I'm good with you dying and, proving Darwin correct. I'm good with that.
And I think I felt that's a similar way, but about the dude in that movie who survives being stabbed several times because he's dead. He's speared by these like flying dinosaurs. I can't even think of their name. They look like pterodactyls, but they're not. They're some other species.
Right.
And then they get rescued by the helicopter, and there he is. And it's like, how did they find him? There's no way that he would have, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they took something unbelievable and made it even more unbelievable. Right. And to your point, like, you stole eggs. That's why these dinosaurs were chasing you, you idiot. Like, you deserve to get speared by these dinosaurs. Like, bye.
One of the things that I think plagues these movies, and you're gonna hear me mention this in the 6th when we review it, is it tries to create moments that just aren't there. And that's one of the first ones where we're supposed to feel relieved that they rescued him. And I'm like, no,
don't care.
No,
Don't
he
care.
deserved to die. I mean,
Yeah.
Granted, it's a movie,
So, but this is my defense of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, because at least it has decent set pieces that are exciting. Like,
sure,
the story. I mean, I really genuinely enjoyed Jurassic World, the first reboot. Like,
okay,
honestly, if I had to pick one to sit down and watch, Jurassic Park versus Jurassic World, I am definitely picking Jurassic World. Okay. It's not as good of a movie, I understand, but I think it's a more entertaining watch. And if I had to pick one that isn't Jurassic Park or Jurassic World up until the sixth one was released, like I would pick the Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, because again, there are set pieces that work. Nothing the Lost World, Jeff Goldblum is so bad in it. Everything they do with Jeff Goldblum's character is just what who is this person now? Like,
right.
It doesn't make any sense. And the third one is just unwatchably bad. And that leaves, so I would much rather watch Fallen Kingdom, because in spite of the story being unnecessarily difficult, I still feel really bad for that Brontosaurus at the dock. I'm sorry. Yeah. That is probably for me the most emotional moment of any of the six movies, is when that Brontosaurus on the dock is getting consumed by lava. That's really sad. I felt really bad for that Brontosaurus.
I think I don't love that one. If I would watch Jurassic Park, then I'd watch Lost World. I love the second one, even though it's arguably
it's so bad.
It's very terrible. The third one is terrible though.
Yeah.
I think like Fallen Kingdom loses me in the last like 45 minutes. That's where I'm like, I'm out. Okay. Like I can't even articulate why, but something about the last 45 minutes. Actually, I just realized what it is. It's that last like 10 minutes where, spoiler alert, she slaps her hand on the button and releases all the dinosaurs. Like, that's why we now have a sixth button. I was like, y'all let one 8-year-old little girl doom us all to be eaten by dinosaurs. Like, that's where it loses me. I was like, I'm out.
But the second one has these people bringing a Tyrannosaur and its baby on a ship. Come on.
But at least they like try and chase it down and like put it away. Like,
do they? No, they don't. Like, and when they try to put it back on the ship, the guy's mad. We're quibbling over which is the more stupid way to bring dinosaurs back onto the mainland.
Yeah.
When
and so when you consider the fact that this whole series originates from 2 books, okay? Michael Crichton didn't even decide that he needed to write more than the 2 books that he wrote, okay?
Did he even really want to write 2 books? I thought he only wrote the second book for the movie. Is that, or am I wrong?
I don't know enough about it to be able to say, but I do know that having read both books, I was like, yeah, maybe we leave Lost World alone and don't make it a movie. But then they made it a movie.
Yeah.
And everything that I was concerned with, happened, and that it didn't really hold true to the book. There was a lot of other, because when you have something as successful as the first film, with a notable cast, it just the effort to try to recapture that feeling becomes a problem, because you have to make it grander and grander. But all you're left with through the first 5 films, and this is me overly generalizing the notion of the films and what I look at it and see, is, does nobody get that this just isn't a good idea? That's it's like, what have we not learned?
It's the definition of insanity, like making the same decision over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
And yet there I was watching every single one.
Yes. Remind me of this point when we talk about the last one, because I have a very big bone to pick with the final movie.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I don't know that we need to do a deep dive into each of the first 5, but I will say that again, if you leave it to the spectacle of it all, you had to you got to look at it and think to yourself, the producers and directors, and they're like, we got to make this bigger than last time, and that's all they're left with, is making it bigger than last time, to the point where one of the things that plagues the sixth movie is it's very evident they've run out of ideas in terms of creatures. So
I don't know.
We'll get there.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I can't wait to debate that.
They found a way to do it, whether or not it works or not. That's a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But they found a way. Look,
it's because life finds a way.
Yeah.
There you
go. Oh, ouch.
It had to be said. Sorry.
It's interesting because the Jurassic World was it was lightning in a bottle. It did such great business. I don't know. It was a thing. Yeah. After Lost World just making millions of dollars, but nobody actually liking it except for one person apparently, and nobody going to see Jurassic 3 because nobody cared at that point. Because after when you build up that much ill will in a series, it's really tough. And then they fixed it. They fixed it. They fixed it with Jurassic World. Okay. And just saying, you know what, we're just gonna make something silly with a lot of awesome set pieces, and we're gonna have a charming leading person who actually is doing what that charming leading person actually would do in a scenario, rather than Jeff Goldblum, chaos theorist, and adventure hero. Like, okay, all right, sure, that's exactly what he is. And then it was just like Fallen Kingdom had moments like the Brontosaurus moment, but then it was like, did you learn nothing from Lost World? Like, literally, did you learn nothing? Like, just do what you did with the first one. Like, okay, you want to make Bryce Dallas Howard conscientious now, great, that's fine. You can still be awesome. Like, Jurassic World proved you could be awesome, and it's just we're getting another one, and I know Sergio said this is the last of the Jurassic movies. They clearly, the quotes that I have heard clearly left it open that yes, the Jurassic stuff is done, but hey, there's a whole other era that we're going to the Cretaceous, and that's going to happen. Like, like it or hate it, that's where this is going, and we're going to get another one.
I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that connection.
It's there. It's not. I am not breaking any news. This is not a spoiler.
It's like
alert.
Resident Evil, it just won't go away.
It's not going away.
And if they're all like those, I won't be going to see that.
I mean, okay. So I think now would be a good point to begin segueing towards the sixth film in our discussion on that, because the problems that I have with part 6 begin with part 5. Okay. In that part 5 leaves us at a very distinct point. Okay, we can talk all about how bad that movie was, but if you go for story alone, and the weirdness of the clone girl and all that, if we're looking at just the dinosaur aspects of that story, it leaves us at a very particular point. And my first beef with part 6, Jurassic World Dominion, is, I'm sorry, but the trailer sets up a film that never happens.
Yes.
Never happens. It sets up the end of 5 sets up a storyline that, had they decided to go that direction, I might have been happier with this film.
But meaning dinosaurs have run rampant around the world.
Something to do with not being back in a park, or in a facility with. Yeah. And my goodness, let's get rid of Henry Woofer. I mean, he's the source of all problems. Like, they went back to basically part 4.
Yeah, part 1.
Well, yeah, okay,
really,
sure,
part 1,
right?
Like,
and I'm like,
we're collecting the dinosaurs. Yeah. I
love the dinosaur sequences. There were some fantastic action set pieces in this movie, But I'm sorry, you did not deliver the movie that your trailer set up. So that's I'll start there. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
And this is going to come out when you ask me how many tacos and all this stuff. I found myself looking at my watch repeatedly. I was bored out of my mind because this is not the movie I signed up to watch. I signed up to watch a movie about how we are now trying to coexist with dinosaurs.
Yep.
That's what I signed up to watch. I was mad. Like this is not what I signed up for. And then the big bad in the movie are these fucking locusts that are disgusting. And like this.
No, bigger than that. They're bigger than that.
They're huge.
Yeah. They're as big as my face.
Bigger. Yeah.
I was disgusted. So if there's a Cretaceous movie and they're all about bugs, and I'm out. Not doing.
I don't know if it's going to be all about bugs, but
did we need did we need this franchise to have a Bond villain? Like,
and then to wrap it up, and all of a sudden, the guy who is the problem that started it all 5 movies ago, all of a sudden has a change of heart, and I didn't learn my lesson before, but all of a sudden I learned it in the last 20 minutes of the final. No.
Well, he only learned it about the locusts, though. Like, he never regrets anything else. But it's it was those like, darn locusts. You know what? Maybe the locust was the bridge too far. I
didn't believe that they wouldn't have just shot him in the face right there and left him. Like, no.
They needed him to fix his thing. Like, unfortunately, they needed him to fix his thing.
I hated this movie.
Okay,
it's the worst one in the franchise for me.
Interesting. I mean, this one in a vacuum. I liked this one more than the 5th one. In a vacuum, your complaints about it, not being the film that they kind of teased for us.
It's in the name.
It's 100% valid. 100% valid. And you're right. It's in the name. And it's clearly what happened that like the second one in the Jurassic World series didn't work. And so they brought in the guy who made the first one, which did work, to just forget number 2. It was basically the Star Wars trilogy where Rian Johnson came in and made this great movie, completely different than Force Awakens, but makes a great movie on its own. And then they kind of retcon a bunch of stuff in the 3rd one to undo some of the things that Rian Johnson did. Whereas this one, it's just like, the only thing we're bringing in forward from the 2nd one is Clone Baby, but everything else we're just going to be like, that didn't happen. And then I get it. It in the grand scheme of things, of all the things that you had happen in the 2nd one, Clone Baby probably wasn't the most pressing thing you needed to carry on, but that's what they did. In a vacuum, I did like it more, but than Lost Kingdom, Fallen Kingdom. But the problem is that the Fallen Kingdom wasn't that good. So it was, where are you going? So this is why I am saying the Jurassic franchise is just ridiculously overrated. It has one really good movie. It has one movie that I love that I think is really good, but I can understand somebody saying, that movie is just, hooey. And then it has 4 at best mediocre, mostly bad movies.
Yeah.
And that's what we have. And it's like that's not a franchise that you can get excited about, but we're going to get another one. Why? Because people go.
Yeah.
I guess.
People pay for it.
I will say there are things I appreciated. I appreciated that they did bring in some of the science. And I say science because they adapted it for Hollywood. So that's why it's in quotes. But I did notice they added some of the scientific discoveries that have been made in recent years about new dinosaurs, and them realizing, no, dinosaurs a lot of them really did have feathers, and some of that stuff I appreciated because I'm also a little bit of a nerd. I did appreciate some of not so much the Jurassic franchise Easter eggs, but I noticed the very obvious kind of Easter, like Steven Spielberg Easter egg was the Indiana Jones hat that you saw like a scene specifically.
But that happened in the third one too, where he lost his hat and the kid found it and brought it back to him. Like,
well, there was another scene that to me was very reminiscent of Jaws, where they're, I think when they're down in the mines and there's water or something, and you see like something swimming with the fin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I appreciated some of those kind of callbacks to Steven Spielberg, since he was the one that did the first one, like some of that stuff.
I like the Barbasol, the shaving cream can, because it
but I was frustrated by that too.
Why?
I was like, well, exactly. That's my
How
why.
did they do it? Did they go comb the entire park and find it buried in
it
the
was
mud?
covered with lava. We never saw that
no.
again.
But in the opening of the first movie, he gives a can to an insider, and the insider gets away with that can. That you know, not an insider, but like a mysterious figure. That mysterious figure clearly worked for the bad guy company in this one, and so that was the can.
Wait, when?
That there was a second can.
He gives him. Yeah, he gives him, doesn't he?
Which can?
No,
the can from
there was
movie
only
one.
There was only the one Barbasol.
I thought there was two. I thought there was
Nope.
one and he gives them that it's just kind of like, here's the up front, and then oh no, okay, I didn't rewatch the first one.
I want to say that the can does make an appearance in the third one, because that's how they've sort of redone some of the dinosaurs. But it was such again, this movie was full of moments that were trying to make us go, "Ooh, that's cool," but for no reason. Like, listen, this may cause controversy out there, but there was no reason to bring in the characters from the first three.
Well, to have them all up on screen at the same
cringy.
time.
It was so cringy. Like so many of their interactions were just like, why are we doing this?
But I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I like Jeff Goldblum in this more than I liked him in Lost World.
You did?
Oh, absolutely. Because
at
least he was doing things that made sense for what Jeff Goldblum's character would be doing.
I guess.
I didn't like it because I wanted to get to know more about the smuggler who ended up helping them get in, like flew them into the pilot.
Oh, she was amazing.
Yeah.
That actress is incredible. I hope I see her in lots more stuff. I wanted to know more about her. Like you were in the Air Force. You now are a smuggling pilot. How the hell do you know what all these dinosaurs are called? Like, even though that it's been 4 years since they were all released, like I want to know, like I actually wanted to know more about her, and I didn't care as much about the original characters. Because we finally got the moment where we saw Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler like finally get together, but
I was like, I hope this means the movie's almost over.
Yeah. Other than that, like that's all I could have done without everybody else.
I have to ask this question because both kind of half a joke, you guys know me, but also because this seriously happened. This movie was so not capturing for me that I looked up because I thought it was a made-up word. I thought, is a Giganotosaurus a real dinosaur? Like, because when they first said the word, it is.
Okay.
It sounded so made up. It's a Giganotosaurus. I'm like, what? That's something like a kid would say about it. That's not a dinosaur. It's a notosaurus. I was just like, what in the world did they just say? And then they said it again, and I'm like, oh, they're being serious. Like, that's the name. So I was so like, okay, whatever happens in the next few minutes, I gotta know. And so there I was on my phone. Sorry, people behind me. Look, I'm like, is this a thing? And it is. There was a Giganotosaurus.
So there you go.
And I was like, all right, I learned something.
I also looked up, I literally have an article pulled up right now because I was like, oh, well, like one of the things I know they included some of the more recently discovered dinosaurs and that sort of stuff in this movie. And the one that I was like, that's a fake one, is the Dreadnoughtus.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? That's not a real dinosaur name. Like, it looks like the Brontosaurus. So did they make, but no, it's a real dinosaur.
Yeah.
And it was one that was relatively recently discovered. And they think it's the biggest. And
I'm pretty sure Brontosaurus actually isn't a real dinosaur. I hate to break it. I know I said Brontosaurus, but I'm pretty sure Brontosaurus is not a real dinosaur. Like, that's just, I know. It's what we all know it as.
You ruined my entire childhood.
I'm pretty sure Brontosaurus isn't.
Now
real.
I gotta Google it.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking it up.
All right.
I am too.
Yeah.
It's a large sauropod.
real.
It is real. Okay. I thought for some reason I thought there is like pterodactyl, I believe isn't a real one. Like there's pterodon, but there is no
to me.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like
this is my childhood you're messing with.
I know.
Pterodactyls are real?
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I could have swore I was. Okay.
Don't you be saying Ankylosaurus next because that was my favorite dinosaur.
That's my favorite. No. I don't.
That's my favorite dinosaur.
Ankylosaurus. No.
The only one more fun to say is Diplodocus.
I was gonna say next he's gonna be saying the Tyrannosaurus wasn't real.
Yeah, no, that's when we end the show.
Done.
No, so okay, do we at least agree though? Before we get into our ratings, do we agree that the final fight sequence was pretty cool?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Like again, here's the thing: is I would watch this over 2 or 3 because the set pieces are again really good. Like the chase through Malta, for as ridiculous as it was a really good chase through Malta. Like on the motorcycle, that was great.
That was cool.
The everything going on in the mines that you mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that was super fun. So as a story, it's meh, okay, whatever. But the action sequences are really good. And honestly, when I'm going to one of these movies, it's like as long as the action sequence is okay, I'm okay. I will get by. What is it? Was it the movie that that I was promised? No, but it was the action sequences what was promised, and I was happy with that. So
got it. Jen, you were gonna say?
Hated the final fight.
Really?
Oh wow.
Because to me, it was so unbelievable that the T-Rex and this other dinosaur that I can't even think of its name with the razor fingers would work together to pull this like apex predator. Bullshit. No, that would never happen. They would try, like the T-Rex would try, like no.
He was channeling his inner Rocky. Come on now.
No.
But look, as an anthropomorphized moment, it was great. Like it was like, yeah, you know what? The Giganotosaurus is definitely going to beat a T-Rex, but you bring in Wolverine, now T-Rex has a chance.
I guess that's my limit for believability. Like,
I just wish that that dinosaur like made noises, and then like we found out later that Hugh Jackman actually did the noises for the dinosaur.
Also, that would have been the greatest thing. Did anyone else feel like the sound, like the roaring sound from the T-Rex, sounded different than it had in every other movie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought I was like, maybe I'm having hearing problems or something's wrong with the sound. I was like, this is not the T-Rex roar that I am accustomed to, and I am not happy with it.
I agree. I had the same exact thought because again, I was trying to enjoy the sort of nostalgia of it.
We haven't had a T-Rex in a while though.
Good point. Good point.
There was one in not Fallen Kingdom, but
there was one in Jurassic World. Yeah.
And
there was,
and she had her roaring moment.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was very brief though, like
very brief. But she did have the roaring moment, and she sounded the same as
Because remember movies. the big thing with in that one was that they had developed this dinosaur that had never existed before, and and so that's why it was like the big deal, and so it was bigger, scarier than T-Rex.
Yes.
Well, all I'll say is that if this is the final, I'll be okay because every time I watch one of these movies, I wonder how do these people have such strong eardrums that they don't just burst at the loud volume of these roars. They're right in their face. I know.
IMAX 3D, baby. It was awesome.
I did watch it in 3D, and I once again wondered, why do I watch things in 3D? It's just not that big a deal. So
I'm real glad I didn't.
I love it.
But I did enjoy the Avatar trailer. That came
the Avatar. Oh my god, Avatar! I am seeing in 3D. I don't care.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. Oh my god,
absolutely. I think that's the last 3D movie I enjoyed. Was Avatar. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the only one that didn't make me sick, didn't give me a headache. And I literally like it actually worked for me with my janky eyes. I actually had things like feeling like they were right here. Loved it.
Nice. All right. Well, those of you out there watching, you know that here on Real to Real Talk, we rate movies on a 5 taco scale. A movie can get as many as 5 tacos plus guac if you want to give it some extra love. So for Jurassic World Dominion, Jen, as our esteemed guest, please, what is your rating for Jurassic World Dominion?
2 tacos. I literally was checking my watch. I was so bored. It was not the movie I signed up to watch. I didn't care. I felt it was very preachy, just not why I'm going to see a disaster movie. Yes, I believe in climate change and climate impact and all of that stuff. That's not why I'm going to the movies. I'm going to the movies to watch a disaster movie about dinosaurs. Not to be preached at for however long the movie was. So 2 tacos. I loved the nostalgia, loved some of the dinosaurs. Would I watch it again? Yeah, but it's not going to be my first choice.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Paul, if you don't mind closing it out, I'll go ahead and throw mine in there as well, because mine is also 2 tacos for this film. I cannot sacrifice guac for any reason for this movie. It gets 2 tacos because of the awesome action set pieces. And that's pretty much it. Everything around it from a story standpoint to me was it was just not what again, to use your phrase, Jen, it wasn't what I signed up for. And it was a weak story overall. It was just, and bringing these bringing the characters all together. I know when I saw the trailer, I got excited at the notion of that, but it just didn't deliver. It was too cringy. It was just, I won't see this movie again. I think I'm done with this franchise. If there is a 7th, well then, Paul, you're gonna have to.
Then I am done with the Fast and Furious one. I'm not watching 10. I'm not doing it.
I'll fill in for you. Don't worry. I got you.
Done with Jurassic. I'm done with Fast and Furious.
I would sooner watch a Fast and Furious movie than these.
So. Sergio, just call me. I got you.
We're on. We got it. We got it. All right, Paul.
I'm going with 3 tacos. Again, it was exactly what I wanted, and it mentioned how shitty capitalism is, and I'm always if that's the preachy you wanted to be, I'll sign up for that all day. So I didn't mind it. It was certainly better than 2 and 3. I love Jurassic World so much, and Jurassic Park is so good. I wish they could figure out how to make a decent sequel. If the next set figures out how to make a good second movie, I'm there. Like I'm on board.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you all for your thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. It is out at theaters right now, so don't let us set up your thoughts and opinions. Make sure you go watch the film and come up with your own thoughts and opinions, and you can share them with us by stopping by our social media on Facebook. Just look up Real to Real Talk and let us know your thoughts in the comments below of this episode of your thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Real to Real Talk. You can check all of our posters from our past episodes so you know what we've been talking about here lately. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for doing so. Make sure you like the episode. Make sure you click subscribe, and don't forget, click that notification bell so that if you miss us live on Tuesdays at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, you'll know when the episodes post so you can watch them later. So thank you so much for joining us there. Also, you can follow us on Facebook Live every week as we broadcast there as well. All right, it is time now for one of my favorite segments on the show. It is called What the Hell Did I Just Watch? Paul, take it away.
Yeah, and I made a promise, and I made a promise, and I followed through on my promise. I said, I've been trying to make as much as I possibly can, because it's not always easy, but as much as I possibly can, I am trying to match What the Hell Did I Just Watch to the theme of the movie. And so the theme of the movie, or the theme of the show, and this week, obviously, Jurassic franchise. So one that's been on my lists forever is a movie called Velocipaster. And all right, so I have to do a compare and contrast. There was a movie recently that I did that I absolutely loved. And it was called Rubber. And it was a super low budget movie that just was smart and hilarious, but funny and witty. It was a super well done, super low budget movie. Everything about it, great script, everything else. Velocipaster is the opposite. It's literally a no budget movie. By the way, you can make good no budget movies. Rubber, okay, but it's a no budget movie that knows it's a no budget movie, and instead of trying to make something good, like anything, just pick one thing. It leans heavily into the fact that we don't have any budget for this movie, and so everything's going to suck, including the script. Everything. We're just not going to put any effort to make anything decent in this movie. I'm going to quote a line. Let me give you the background of the movie first. So there is a priest whose parents in the very opening of the movie die in a car explosion. The best part of the movie, and I was dying laughing during this, was the priest walks out of the church and is all happy and like saying goodbye to his parishioners, and then he says, "Oh, hi, mom and dad." And they show his mom and dad standing next to a car, and they smile and wave and say hi, and then they flip back to him waving hi, and then you hear a big explosion, and then and he's like you get the reaction shot. And then they change back to where the parents were, where the car explosion would be. And instead of like trying to do anything, like it literally is just like a flash card on the front that says on the screen that says VFX, visual effects, car on fire.
No.
Yes.
Shut up.
I swear to God. Okay, and it was hilarious. I was like, if that's what I'm going to be getting, I'm going to love this movie. And unfortunately, that was the only witty, intelligent thing they did in the entire movie. From there, he decides that he's going to travel to China, although he clearly just goes to his backyard, and like is scratched by a claw, that imbues him with the ability to transform into a velociraptor. And he, when he's in the form of a velociraptor, he has a taste for people, and a person that one of the people that he saves the life of a prostitute who who is about to be beaten to death by her pimp, or actually no, that comes later. She's being beaten up by people, or being threatened by people, and he eats the people, and so she realizes, hey, you could do good with this. And like when they're having the conversation of you could do good with this, she says she comments about how she's only a prostitute to work her way through school, and then he says, well, how much money do you make doing it? And she says, I'm not doing well. And this is the quote from the movie: "There's surprisingly little demand for hooker doctor lawyers." I mean, wow. Yeah. And it's like, it's no, like you can make a bad movie and you can make it good. You can make good bad movies. Like you can do it, but you have to actually be funny. The visual effects car on fire, that was funny. Nothing else that happens in this movie is actually funny. And like the bodysuit that they use for the Velocipaster is clearly horrible. I mean, it's not supposed to be good, but it's so bad, it's bad. Like, I'm going to quote Huey Lewis here. Cool is a rule, but sometimes bad is bad. Like, and this is just bad. This is just a bad movie. I understand that some people are going to think it's great that somebody made something that's bad and enjoy that it's bad, but the problem is it's bad on purpose. So you can't be good if you're being bad on purpose and you're not funny along the way. It's just, so yeah, this movie it's as bad as you could possibly imagine.
There were ninjas in this movie?
There were ninjas in this movie, and all of the ninjas are white dudes. And all the ninjas are white dudes, and it's just like they had one Chinese guy to sort of lend, or wait, was he Chinese? Because he went to China and got the Velocipaster powers. So I'm trying. Maybe he was Japanese, and maybe they were. Anyway, it's not good.
I got to tell you, the artwork on the movie poster is pretty impressive.
Well, congratulations to the guy who made the poster. They dumped all of the budget into the poster. And look, this is a cult movie. Like, people love it. I don't get it. If you're going to love a movie that's a cult movie, love Rubber. Go watch Rubber.
But I wonder if people are loving it because the only reason I've heard of it is there's a TikTok creator. There's a couple of them, but that were watching the movie and showing them live reacting to the movie. And that's why I think people are loving this movie. Is not so much they're loving that movie. They're loving what the TikTok creators, like, their reactions, because they're just disgusted and dismayed and, oh my gosh, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched, as you are, Paul. Like,
yeah,
the TikTok videos are hilarious. Like,
here's the thing is, I've seen a lot of movies spanning very, very large swath of budgets, and I'm telling you, you can make you can actually write a decent low to no budget movie. Like Pi is a great example of a movie that has no budget, but is good. Like, just try. Like, they tried to make it look like they weren't trying. And so in not trying, they didn't try. It's just, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they were trying to make a bad movie and they made a bad movie. And I give no credit or credence to that, because just because you don't have a budget doesn't mean that this is the best that you can do, because it's clearly not. Like, you can put forth effort and do something well. And you had this one moment of amazing revelation of this visual effect, that visual effects. It was like it came in the first 2 minutes of the movie and I was so excited, and then just everything else was like, oh, this is what we're gonna get. And it's just, there was nothing like that. Was such a smart moment, and then to not have any other smart moments throughout, it's just like, ow. Like, we deserve better than this.
Well,
I was sad.
Sounds like it was perfect for your segment.
It really was. It's like, what the hell is that? Like, oh, go watch Rubber, everybody. Yeah. Velocipaster is free on Amazon Prime if you must.
And it's only an hour and 15 minutes.
And it's only an hour and 15 minutes. But Rubber's only an hour and 30. So,
true,
you know.
True. All right. Well, Paul, you always bring us awesome weirdness. So thank you for doing so. If you want to watch what Paul is watching and regret it, then make sure you catch this segment every week here on the show. Which brings us to this week's real quick review. Paul, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the movie, but I know you did.
Yeah.
What are we reviewing?
Adam Sandler had a movie come out on Netflix this week, and it wasn't a dumb comedy. It was another foray of Sandler into drama. I mean, this is a sports movie, pure and simple. It's just, imagine every sports movie you've ever seen, and you know, all of the moments that you need as you go along a standard sports movie. And this is just an absolute cookie cutter sports movie. So if you're interested in basketball, you might really like this, because it's you know, it's good for what it is. Like, it is exactly what it is. You know, like, he had Uncut Gems come out a couple of years ago. Sergio, you've seen that, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that movie is, you know, something else. Like, that's, you know, that movie really pushes some boundaries, not just with Adam Sandler's acting ability, but you know, the story is pretty intense, and it's it's extremely interesting and engaging, and Hustle. Look, the dude who plays the athlete that Adam Sandler is an NBA scout, and he doesn't want to be a scout anymore. He wants to work on the bench. But you know, he needs to find one more big player to you know, finally be like, okay, now you can work the bench, be a coach. And so he finds this kid in the middle of nowhere in Spain, and it's just all about how, you know, it's training him up to be ready to be drafted into the NBA. And so there's training montages like you would want in a good sports flick. Sure. There is his sports villain that he has to overcome in the final climactic scene. there, the guy has ups and downs during his training. It's filmed in Philadelphia, so you get a Rocky moment. Literally a Rocky moment, not figurative, a literal Rocky moment. And so, it's a sports movie. If you think that you would like a sports movie, and you don't necessarily need Adam Sandler doing silly voices, then I highly recommend Hustle. Nice. It's a solid sports movie. But if you want something different and are like, I've seen enough sports movies, I want a different sports movie, this is not going to be that. So.
Well, that sums that up. Thank you, Paul. I do want to check it out. It's on my list to watch cool. Because I do like sports movies.
Sure.
Absolutely. Jen, how about you? Do you like sports movies? Do they fall into your category of things you like to watch?
If it's done well, if it's engaging. I mean, I don't care about sports that much, but like I like a stereotypical sports movie.
This is that. I mean, so it's like just like
No. Yeah. Can you watch a movie like Hoosiers and get to the end and still feel like, oh my God, are they going to win the big game? Because there's some movies that do that for me.
Usually by then I'm like, I mean, they're going to win. Like, I mean, I'm of the Mighty Ducks generation. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Born in 85, like, so I grew up watching that.
Can I just say that's why Bad News Bears is so friggin' good?
Oh yeah.
I have actually not seen that one. So.
Oh wow.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah, the original Bad News Bears is completely inappropriate and amazingly phenomenal. Like there's nothing in that movie that would make it into a movie today, but it's good.
Yeah, it's a classic.
I like a good sports movie. I'd say like The Perfect Game with Kevin Costner is easily in my top 10 list of movies that are my favorites that I'll watch over and over. So
Paul, you lost in the moment you said Kevin Costner.
I fucking hate Kevin Costner.
That's fine.
As you join us more, you'll learn which names to say to trigger Paul. So
yes.
Hey, say Waterworld.
You know what's it's interesting. You know what's a movie I will never watch in my entire life for any reason? Perfect Game.
Really? I enjoyed it.
Oh my God. No.
It's cute. But I'm also like, he plays for the Detroit Tigers. My whole family is from Detroit. Like, there's a whole thing
there's connections.
There's connections as to why I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to also go out on a limb and say that you don't watch the TV show Yellowstone. Just making that.
Is he in that?
Oh yeah, he's the main guy.
Watch that. I don't watch television shows in general. Like if it's not Marvel or Star Wars, I'm not investing the time. So
you're missing out. It's actually really good. But this is not a podcast about TV shows. It's about movies.
That's right.
We can talk TV shows because people need to watch Peaky Blinders. So I'll just leave that there. It's a great show. All right. Well, guys, it's been fun. This is really great. Jen, you have a seat at our table anytime you want. So
there's lots of good stuff coming out this summer. So I'm sure we'll be talking and
absolutely
on any of them. I'm happy to talk with you.
Awesome. As a matter of fact, Paul, we did our summer movie episode last week. Remind us what is on the agenda for the next few days.
In the theaters, it's Lightyear.
Right.
But there are two big, not big, but two streamer releases that I'm really looking forward to. Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, which is the Emma Thompson Gets a Gigolo, and Spiderhead, which is from the dude who made Top Gun and features Thor. So Chris Hemsworth.
All right, fantastic. Nope is coming up pretty soon too. I believe it's the week after
July 22nd.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So Jen will keep you up to date on the movies we'll be watching, and please always know you can join us if you'd like. So
awesome. Well, thanks for having me this week, guys.
Indeed. All right. Well, Paul, as always, it's been fun. We will look forward to doing more. For those of you out there watching, we thank you so much for joining us. Again, don't forget to click subscribe on that YouTube channel. And make sure you click the notification bell so you know when episodes land. But more importantly than all of that, from all of us to all of you, you're awesome. You're amazing. And the world's a better place because you are in it. We will see you next time on Real to